am so glad you are joining us here today or tonight or wherever you are watching from, because we have an amazing lineup tonight you are not going to want to miss. So take a moment to run and get some other people. Text, call, whatever you got to do, because this show is jam-packed with some amazing mentors and some 3 women that are changing the world and some beautiful music as well. So we're going to start right out today with my very first guest. And I want to introduce you to her first because she is helping young girls become all that they can be. And I'm going to introduce you now to Shaquilla Shelton, who is the founder of Jules Mentoring Atlanta.org. Shaquilla, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I'm so glad to see you here. So you've got 2 beautiful girls here with you today, but they're not your daughters biologically, but we're going to get to you in just a moment because I want to start the show right out with you telling us a little bit about yourself, because you do have an amazing mentorship here in the Atlanta area.
Yes, ma'am. So my name is Shaquilla Shelton. I'm the owner and founder of Jules Incorporated, and we are a mentorship program for young girls ages 5 to 17. And what drew me to that age group and to young girls is the influence I had on my life as a young girl. I had positive role models. I had people that were pouring into my life, and I want to do the same thing for our next generation. There are so many negative things out there. There are not a lot of positive influence, and I want to change that with our next generation because they are our next doctors, our lawyers, physicians, and things like that. So it takes people to come together and want to pour into their lives. So that's something I want to do.
You know, Shaquilla, I'm so glad you do this because now more than ever, I think our younger generation needs mentorship. They're probably awfully confused about what's happening with the world and with everything, you know, school in and out, all this stuff, that they need good mentors now more than ever. I mean, who knows what's happening to the teachers now and who's able to teach, who's able to show up. So how long have you been doing this? And tell us, I know it's a Christian ministry as well.
It is faith-based. And I started Jules back in 2013. But I was married. Was married with my husband and my 2 boys. So I was busy being a mom, being a wife, and God stopped me. 2018, he said, this is it. This is your time. And I took the time out, and I was trying to do things on my own way. But when I fell back and allowed God to lead the path, he literally opened the path for me. So this will be our physical 2nd year this year with our girls. So originally 2018, and now is 2nd year.
So you started in 2018, then we had 2019, and then hello 2020.
Right, boom.
Oh, hello. And you said you have 2 boys, but you're mentoring girls. Is there a reason why you switched over to girls?
Well, for girls, because I know the impact it was for me to have someone. Of course, you have your parents, you have your mother, your father, and things like that. But to have someone else that you're seeing, possibly closer to your age, someone that's able to speak to you in a different term, and you're able to relate to them more, and they're very transparent with you. So being able to be that voice for those girls and being able to have someone to confide in, someone to let them know you're going to make mistakes and it's okay. Just to have that, it was a great thing for me.
Well, I'm so glad you did. Again, this is so needed right now. And you've got 2 beautiful young ladies sitting next to you. And what I want to know is first introduce them, tell me their names, and then I want to know what you are learning from this mentorship program. What are some golden nuggets, maybe something you get out of it? Even if it's just friends, that's okay too. So introduce them.
Okay, so first I have here is Peyton Vaughn, and I have Isaiah Wilson, and they both are a part of our Diamonds group. We do have 3 parts where
I had me at Diamonds.
Yes.
Okay. The Diamonds group. Can I join? I'm too old. Never mind. That's okay. I'll just take the diamonds.
Yeah, so we do have our rubies 5 to 7, our sapphires are 8 to 10, and our diamonds are 11 on up. So they are part of our older group.
So it's on up, so I'm not too old. Yay. That's great. I love that you named them after Jules. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So I'll let Peyton go, and then Isaiah, you can tell them a little bit about what you love about Jules and what you've learned so far.
And how old are you both?
I'm 15 and I'm 12.
Okay. Gosh, they look older. Is that okay?
A few things that I love about Jules is mainly the self-love that it teaches you and teaches you to value yourself and your self-worth. We have a lot of girls our age, especially our age, that might not, think they're enough or think they're worth anything. So it very much teaches you self-love. It's a sisterhood. I love the sisterhood part of it. It helps me, the younger group we have, it helps me teach them. I love younger kids, they love me too. So, I just love all of that about it, the field trips, the hands-on activities, it's just guidance that we might want.
You actually probably don't know this, but you really hit a very important issue on the head right now. When you talk about self-love, and any of us adults and moms, we know that that is an issue right now with especially middle school girls and moving up into high school. So what's one way that, Jim, we'll get to your sister in a second, what's one way you teach them self-love? Because that's vital and important, and it's such a hard thing, I think, to get across, because we want to, but does it sink in? So how do you do that?
So with our group, we did a session called Mirror Mirror. And with Mirror Mirror, we bought big, tall mirrors, 6-foot mirrors, and we had each girl to go into the mirror. And I had them and their leaders ask, what do you see when you look in the mirror? And you'll be surprised, a lot of them didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to, oh, are you beautiful? Do you feel you're beautiful? Do you know who you are? And a lot of them didn't know. So what we had to do was come back and reevaluate, okay, how are we going to make sure they're doing it? So what we did was have them go back after their session, and we gave them all cards. You had to tell me 6 things, affirmations that you're going to start saying every morning. So we challenged them every morning when you wake up, hold it over your mirror, put it over your door, in your kitchen before you go and open the refrigerator. Have these things posted to where you're able to go and say, I am beautiful, I'm one of a kind, I am chosen, I'm worth more.
That. Chosen.
Yes.
Yes.
Because they are. They have to know that, because if not, society will tell them different. So that's our goal. We try to just instill greatness into our girls to let them know you are more. You're valuable. The Bible says it. You're valuable. You're more precious than a ruby, more precious than any stone that was created. So just reassuring them that they know who they are.
That's incredible. That is so vital. Now, do you ever work with parents?
We're getting to that now.
Okay, because I know a lot of women. It's a hard thing to sink in, especially if we hadn't been raised with it or got, you know, the wrong impression when we were young and derailed us. Because the person that said sticks and stones will break your bones and words will never hurt you is completely wrong.
It is.
Because words hurt. And they get inside, and they can do a lot of damage. So, gosh, bravo, I love that. So tell me what again, your name and what grade are you in?
I'm Isaiah. I'm in 7th grade, and Jules has taught me how it's okay to depend on other people. You don't have to just worry about looking out for yourself, and how you can put trust into other people. Like, as Peyton said, it's like a sisterhood, and I'm learning how to open up and build my trust and, like, make more friends and sisters. Jules has also taught me, like, how important having a relationship with God is. So I feel like my relationship with God has really grown. And I sense like a change in my life from like when I didn't really like I went to church and I believed in God, but I didn't really like have a relationship with Him. So
that's a big difference. And how long have you been a part of Jules?
I've been a part of Jules for about 1.5 years. I was in Jules for the end of last year, and then I got back in this year.
So all during this crazy pandemic world. Wow. And how long have you been in?
Same, 1.5 years.
Same, okay. Hey, they're so well spoken too. I mean, how great, how great. So you have a big event coming up. Tell me about that and what that's all about.
Yes, so we're having our first annual cotillion. Last year we had a small gala. Due to COVID, we weren't able to have it at the measures, and we're still not where we wanted it to be because of COVID, but we are having a cotillion ball. And typically you think of cotillion when you hear Greek sorority, or you're hearing about when they're older, you know, middle school, high school, but we have our 5 all the way up to our oldest girls.
So they,
our little 5-year-olds.
Oh my gosh, so I want pictures.
I will make sure you get them. And they're in full-length gowns, ball gowns with the petticoats, and we even have their escorts, their fathers, in tuxedos.
Oh.
Yes, so it is going to be an amazing event, and we just want to show the girls. And our theme is Once Upon a Time, to never stop dreaming and believe in whatever goal. The sky isn't the limit. You can go high. If you can go higher, go. And that's where our whole motto behind that whole theme is. And it's a night where they're going to just be honored. And they're doing their dances. Even our 5-year-olds have learned a dance, a box step dance.
Well, they're the ones that
walks.
can dance. It's me that can, you know, but they're probably going to be great.
Yes. And so this whole night is just going to be about them, experiencing and having something that can last a long time, a lifetime. They can look back and see, this is what I got to do. So just want to create and lasting memories for our girls, even our parents. They're in full gowns and ball gowns. It's formal. So with COVID, we had a lot of things we're not able to do. So this is something that we can reward them with and
Get a
have a good
sequin
time.
diamond mask. You know,
Right.
you can bling out those masks
They
real
are.
nice. I bet you
Yes.
are. I do want to see pictures. Now, the listeners viewers are watching, saying, okay, I have a daughter, or a teenager may be watching, say, I want to be a part of this. What do they have to do to become a part of it?
Okay, yes. So we do have our website, which is julesmentoringatl.com, and they're able to go on and apply, and the email will come straight to us, and then we'll reach out to the parents to let them know this is the information, the application, things like that. We have wonderful sponsorships that are coming through for the girls, so we just have a lot of things for them.
What's the application process? Like, what are you looking for? Is it just all girls that want to come in, or is there certain criteria?
It's all girls. What's up, all girls? No nationality. There's nothing like, we just want them all. Because, like I say, our generation, they needs it. From, like I say, 5 all the way down, they need it. So we open all, we'll accept them all.
So the application is just to know where they are, where they live, who they are, and just
Right.
come on in. So
Right.
you know. And is there a cost to it, or did you say you get sponsors for that?
It is $125 a year, which cover their T-shirts. Each girl get a Bible.
Oh,
it
nice.
comes, yes, it's a pretty pink Bible, and they get that. They get their T-shirts. We have an induction ceremony as well, where they're inducted into the actual program. They get pinned, so they get a lot of things that comes with it. It covers all their activities, their field trips, and things like that as well.
Is this a nonprofit organization?
No,
Okay, but people can sponsor.
they can.
So tell us about that, because we probably some people watch and say, well, I don't have any daughters, but I really want to give into this. I can't mentor myself, but I'm loving what I'm seeing and hearing in these young girls. And you, how can they give? Is it on the website?
It is on the website. Yes, they can go on there as well and click on the link to give, and we can have it to where we can sponsor many girls.
That's great. So with that, what else do y'all love about being a part of this? Because you've been in like almost 2 years
Right.
through this crazy world that's not normal. Has that kind of helped you along with this pandemic? And I know some kids, like I have a daughter who's in high school, and the in and the out of the school, and the yes, you can come, no, you can't, go home, come back.
Right.
Hello. How is that affecting, and how does this help, or does it help?
This very much do help with the process of coping with a lot of things, especially with the pandemic, in and out of school. You know, if you come in contact, you got quarantined, sent home. Some, the grades might go up, down, side to side, all that.
Yeah,
So it's
side to side for sure.
Yeah, it sometimes might stress us out, and sometimes you just need that people, like Isaiah said, that trust. Somebody to open up to, and vent to, express yourself to, and that's what I use this program for, to come and, like, if I'm feeling any type of way, need something to get off my chest, hey, come to Miss Shaquilla all the time, call her. I need to talk about this. I need to get this. Sometimes in Jules, we actually, do assignments, or with our groups, we might talk, hey, how are y'all feeling? What's going on? Y'all need to talk about anything. We did vision boards to see where we want to be in 5 years, 4 years.
Look at you
now.
guys, goal posters. I love
Yeah.
it. Oh, this is our next generation. This is the one that's going to save our world.
Right.
This is exciting. I'm so excited. Like I said, I have 2 daughters, one that's grown and one that's 16, and it's so isolating these days. And to have that mentorship, this is vital. Do you see yourself opening up more chapters, or you've got to grow? We got to help you
Yes,
grow.
that's our
'Cause
goal.
You got to help all the girls of the entire world. So
Right.
no pressure there.
Right.
Because this is great. So you think about opening up other chapters?
Yes, we are. We want to do multiple states
Okay.
first, so reaching out different states and trying to get it into other states as well, because it's needed.
It
Very
is.
much is needed.
And what do you like best, and what else do you want to say about what this program's done for you during this crazy world time?
Well, it has been very crazy, and I know, like, anytime that I'm not feeling well, or that like the pressure may be on, I know that not only do I have like that trust with these people, but I also know that, like, they'll pray for me and they'll have my back.
They will. When 2 or 3 come together in his name, there he is.
Yes.
And so many girls don't know where that other person is, because their parents may not be prayer warriors. They
Right.
may not even be there. They may be out, both working, or they're single mom or single dad. So this is really important. What happens if a daughter or a girl doesn't have involved parents, and they want to reach out to you? Maybe they're 14, 15, or 16, old enough to reach out, but their parents, it's not something that's going to be like involved. Can you help them?
Yes, we do have leaders that are able to get with the parent, and they work hand in hand. So that's one of our goals with Jules. If those parents they're absent and they need help, we do have it to where our leaders are responsible for this person. So she'll go pick them up, bring them to the practice or a meeting, and then take them back. So we do have where we can assist other girls who may not have parents who are as involved as other parents.
You really have thought this all through. You
Yes.
really are an angel. Isn't she an angel? Oh my gosh. And you guys are too. Just looking at you, all three of you, and listen to you, you give me hope. You give us all hope. Hope everybody watching gets hope that our future is bright. And you can make, one woman can make a difference.
Right.
So tell us in the last minute that we have together, what would you most want the viewers to know? How can they help you? Or what is your message to them, how this ministry is serving the community?
Right. My message is to everyone just to know that it takes a person and others to be able to help our next generation. It may be just you smiling at someone, telling them you're beautiful, because our girls need it. Our girls are so lost. They don't know who they are. They're not knowing whose they are, which is mainly important with them. So I just want them to know that you're beautiful, you're one of a kind, you're chosen. And with our program, we do need the assistance because we need more people. We need more volunteers because we're growing. And we started out with 13 girls. Now we're at 32. Ooh. Yeah, so we need multiple volunteers to come in and assist. And we do background checks on all volunteers to make sure they're in guidelines. But just wanted to be a help, be a blessing for someone else.
And your website again?
It's www.julesmentoringatl.com.
And do you ladies ever see yourself maybe opening up a chapter?
Yes, ma'am.
Look at without hesitation. Yeah, there's your future leaders right there. That is so great. I'm so excited, and I hope everybody will go on and help you and open up other chapters. Where do you see yourself in any specific new state, like your first one besides Georgia?
We're looking at South Carolina.
Okay.
South Carolina and North Carolina right now.
Oh, that's awesome. And do your boys help out in any way?
They do. They
Okay,
definitely
gotta
do.
get those guys involved.
Yes.
What do they do?
They, like for the cotillions, we have them there. They're going to be our escorts, so they're going to be helping the girls on and off the stage. So I try to keep them involved as well, because to know you have to take care of our ladies for our next generation.
Absolutely. Well, gosh, are they kicking and screaming, or are they happy?
They're happy.
Okay, good. They get surrounded by girls. I bet they're happy.
Right.
Thank you so much, ladies, for being here. It was such a pleasure. Hope you come back again.
Yes.
And now we're going to go to the music, and we are going to hear from North Point Worship with Here I Am for your musical enjoyment. Thank you again, ladies, for being here.
Thank you.
Great job. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Jules International.
Come together. shadows. I'm not giving up. No. Where you go, I'll go. If you stay, I'm not moving. Through the valleys and shadows, I'm not giving up. No, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. No, I'm not giving up. Here I am. All I have is in your hands. Where I'm meant to be is such surrender. I can see when I let go, you carry me. Here I am. Oh, here I am. Oh, here I am. Oh, here I am.
That was beautiful. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. And they will be back, so don't go away. And if you are looking for prayer, don't hesitate to call the number here on the screen, 770-300-9828 for prayer. During this show, you can call and get somebody on the phone to pray with you. Either you want to share a praise report or you need prayer. These days, the phones are ringing off the hook with prayer, and be one of those people that reach out. Don't go this life alone. Like the girls were saying earlier, together, people achieve more. Togetherness matters, and having mentorships and prayer partners makes a difference. So that's why Atlanta Live is here Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and this prayer line is open for you. So feel free, use the call line, and we look forward to hearing from you and praying with you tonight. Now, my next guest is another phenomenal woman. It is Girls Night here tonight on Atlanta Live, and my next guest is a podcaster and the founder of Coaching to the Heart. Her name is Diana Curtis, and she's a sought-after educator, life coach, and speaker with a history of life-changing successes and transformational grief work. What better time than this to talk about overcoming grief? Diana, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. This is your first time here.
It's my first time here, and I feel so welcome.
Oh, you are welcome, and you look marvelous.
Thank you.
So doing great.
Yeah.
And Diana, I'm so glad you're here because you deal with a very important topic as well during this crazy pandemic time. You know, I think it's going to be more PTSD than we all realize coming out of everything we've been through in 2020, 2021, and going further. But before we get into grief and how you help people who are grieving, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, as you said, my name is Diana Curtis, and I am a proud mother of 3 beautiful girls and 5 grandkids.
Oh my gosh, it is girl power tonight.
Yes, that's a lot of girl powers. Now, my grandkids are boys and 2 GGs, great-grands.
Oh, wow, no.
Yes.
What skincare do you use?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
With skincare.
I mean, you look so young. I'm like, you got grandkids and great-grandkids?
I do.
No, you don't.
I absolutely do.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
okay.
I do. So, yeah, that's my personal who I am. As you said, I'm a podcast host, and I love it. It's growing through grief because I think grief is something that you grow through. You grow through it. And what else do? I did get ordained a few years back, and I didn't see that coming.
Ordained as an ordained minister?
Ordained as a minister. And
Wow.
I actually didn't see it coming. I started to work with women in the prison system, and I chose to become an ordained minister so that I could have access to them without a whole lot of struggle. So here I am, an ordained minister.
Look at you. Now, did that get shut down during 2020? Are you able
Oh,
to?
absolutely. Having been in the prison system, what, 2.5 years? How
Yeah.
long has COVID been going on?
Too long. I'm
2.5
stopped
years.
counting.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself going back, though?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
And the reason I see myself going back is because a lot of the women that are there, they carry some of my story. They don't have their mom. They didn't have their mom as I didn't. As a 3-year-old, my mom died. And a lot of these women don't have the same-sex role model. So they are my heart, and absolutely I am going back.
I'm so glad. And you have a great ministry now and turned it into a business where you have your coaching programs for Coaching to the Heart, helping people go through grief, and a podcast, Growing Through Grief.
Yes, growing through grief.
Yeah, so tell us, first of all, I thought it was very interesting. What is grief and what does the Bible say about grief?
Oh, wow, grief. Let me just give you the practical term, first of all. Grief is an emotion, just like love, peace, joy. That's a very interesting correlation, right?
Right.
But grief is an emotion. It's not an intellectual thing. It's not something you can think through and heal. It's an emotion that you have to feel and process. Now, the Bible says, my very favorite scripture is Matthew 5:4, where Matthew says, "Blessed are those who mourn. They will be comforted." And there's another version that I really, really like. It says, "Happy are those who mourn. They will be glad." And for me, what that means is, in order to get through the grief and grow through it, you have to feel it. And on the other side, trust that you will be comforted. Trust that you will be happy. In order to get to the happy side, you have to go through what you're going through. And you grow through it as you go through it. So yeah.
You really do. Well, that's fascinating. And you've said before to me, because I know you personally, and you've said something I thought was really interesting, because we've all gone through grief. You know my story. Plenty of grief to go around for sure. And I once mentioned to you about the stages of grief, and you corrected me. So most people think of those stages of grief. Tell us what your philosophy is and how you switch that up a bit.
Yes, so Kubler-Ross wrote a book decades ago, and it's called Death and Dying. So she did some research and came up with these 5 stages that is related to death. Now, researchers have spent decades trying to correct that, because many see those stages as stages of grief. So there's a lot going on to debunk the stages of grief. Denial. How many times have someone lost a loved one and they deny it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Another stage is deny, acceptance, anger. Now, you may go through the acceptance and the anger period, or you may not go through it. And there's also depression. This is my favorite one that I like to talk about.
I was going to say your favorite. Depression's your favorite.
The topic depression is my favorite one, because we self-diagnose ourselves as having depression, when in fact, because grief and depression, the symptoms are very, very, very similar.
But they're different?
They're very similar, like a concentration, difficulty sleeping. And if you don't deal with the grief, you could potentially move to a stage of depression, yes. But there's also unresolved grief. Again, if you don't deal with it, you can diagnose yourself as being depressed.
So grief is kind of the forefront, so you're feeling grief that could lead to depression.
Absolutely. If you don't process it, you don't heal it, it could lead to depression. However, I have had many clients who, once they resolved the unresolved grief, they feel all better. Yes, there's a clinical aspect of depression.
Yes.
Absolutely, there is. But there's also an aspect where it's just overwhelming feelings of grief and loss from losing something special in your life. And once you clear that out and create space for something different to come in, then the depression, as you self-diagnosed it, pretty much goes away.
Is there a secret tip you can give us without giving all your secrets away that could help maybe a viewer know whether they're going through grief or depression and what they could do about it?
A secret tip I would give is, because grief is an emotion, especially around a significant loss, we'll use death because that's the most crippling one. If you process it, you be with it, you release it, you create space for something different to come in, You know, you don't stuff it down. A lot of people stuff it down because they're afraid to fear. They don't think they will survive or make it to the other side. Well, emotions don't kill us, right?
Okay.
Unless we don't heal them. And then, of course, we move into depression. So my number one tip is to realize and know that you're not the feelings, you're not grief. It's a feeling that you're feeling. And if you don't become that or attach yourself to that, and I'm thinking about what Joel Osteen used to say, well, probably continue to say, he wrote an entire book. Be careful what you say behind that I am. I am depressed, or maybe I'm feeling depressed. So it's all about processing those feelings. You're not the feelings. You're feeling those feelings.
You just said something really good. Why don't you repeat that? Because that's profound. That I am depressed. Don't say that. I am feeling depressed.
I am feeling depressed.
That's a good one. That's a real good, thank you. That's a great golden nugget, because people do that, and that's self-sabotage, and that's self-talk. And what I said in that segment earlier was like, the person said, sticks and stones break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Words against ourselves, that we talk about ourselves, can hurt us, and you're saying does hurt us, and keeps us in that, because we're saying, I am depressed. I know, I'm sure I've said that myself, and many people.
Yeah.
So I am feeling depressed, or
feeling
anger,
depressed.
or grief.
Or lonely, or
Lonely.
grief, or sadness.
Right.
Or peace, or love,
Yeah,
or
all the good stuff.
joy.
You're happy, yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's say I am happy. That's a good one to claim.
Absolutely.
So you help people. You've got your programs, and you also have your podcast. Here goes my voice. You also have your podcast. What type of people, like, are you looking for that you can really help? Like, if they're out there and thinking, well, I think, I may need help. What do you look for in a new listener to your podcast or a new client in your program?
Yeah. Well, thank you for keep mentioning the podcast, because the podcast is a platform where I am having amazing conversations like you and I are having. We're having conversations about grief. They're grief experts. They're spiritual advisors. And they're also individuals who have gone through grief and loss, and they're kind of on the other side of that. So that is very important to me. That is my baby, and I'm so loving it now.
And the title again?
The title is Growing Through Grief, because here's what I believe, that there are no failures. When something happens, if you lose someone, your heart is broken, it throws you into a growth period. So grow through it, because we are going to experience things, right? You mentioned PTSD at the beginning of our talk. Post-traumatic stress disorder. There's a whole nother body of work that's called post-traumatic growth system. Because it's all about growing. It really is all about growing.
Because you can grow through it. You don't have to be stuck in it.
Grow through it.
Grow through. What a great new concept, or a different concept that I love and wanting people to hear. With the world as crazy it is, like I keep saying, because the grief is so important. People feel lonely. They're still not reconnected. And grief is a big thing. Depression is rampant. Therapists are booked for the next 10 years. It's really crazy out there, which shows the state of mind people in, because you can't take humans and separate them. We have to have each other. We have to have relationships and hugs and camaraderie. I know I do. Touch, yes, we need that. Even if it's long distance helps, but it's not as good as. So what do you say to somebody who's now listening to this and maybe feeling some hope, but they get caught up in like severe episodes of crying uncontrollably, or maybe they've just lost a loved one to whether it's COVID or to whether it's anything, because we lose loved ones, because that's one thing that's guaranteed is change, death, and taxes, right? So if they're uncontrollable and they feel out of control and they feel like they're sliding or in depression, what are some things they can do, and do they need to reach out to you?
First of all, I would say if they feel like they're spiraling out of control, do seek support.
Which would be what?
Which would be, I would offer that if they feel like it's grief, to seek out someone who specializes in grief, because even medical doctors, sometimes if they don't have that experience with grief, they treat the symptoms. They put you on medicine, because most of our doctors don't have a lot of time to spend with us, right? When we are in the room,
especially
getting
these days,
so they don't have time to dig into our life. So I would offer that they go to someone who would spend some time with them, get to know them, and dive into what has happened. Who did you lose? Who broke your heart? Whatever is going on, so that they can identify what is the unfinished business with a loss, a death, a divorce. You know, there's so
Anything, yeah.
many grief events. You ask me what type of individuals that I would want to come into.
Yeah, because
my
I'm sure
fold.
you want people to contact you.
It's interesting because I've been getting a lot of phone calls from therapists and psychologists. So that's another
people
tip.
too.
They're people too. We can't heal ourselves. It's seek out, get support, and get in community, because healing happens in community, not alone.
I love that. So if somebody wants to reach out to you because they really love what you're saying, and I'm loving what you're saying already, how do they get in touch with you?
They would go to my website. It's Coaching to the Heart. That is my business, and then these other things that you and I have just talked about, they fall under that business. So it's www.coachingtotheheart.org, and I would just say, top right corner, there is an option for individuals to get on a call with me.
That's great.
And let's just have a conversation. I have tons of programs, of course, but I like to get to know people on an intimate level so that I know what we're trying to heal.
And I know you personally. I know you are such a good listener, and you're so calming, and you have such great resources and ideas, and just that alone that you said that grief and depression are two different things, and that don't
they look
say,
so similar.
They do. And then don't claim the feelings. Don't claim I am depressed or I am angry. It's I'm feeling this way, knowing you can grow out of it and get help. And that's what I really want to encourage people today, to seek out help, because together we can achieve anything.
Yes.
Thank you so much for doing this. Your podcast, again, is very inspirational. You bring on great guests. If somebody wants to be a guest on your podcast, where do they go?
They will reach out to me, same place. They could go to my website, or they can also email me. It's the same address. It's Diana@coachingtotheheart.org.
Oh, the Coaching to the Heart.
Coaching to the Heart is all
Love
about
that.
the heart.
And growing through grief. Thank you, Diana, so much for being here with us tonight.
Thank you.
You've been a pleasure and a joy, and you've got your work cut out for you these days, for sure. But feel free to call her. Diana, I vouch for myself. She is such a special, godly, wonderful woman you're just going to love meeting. But now we got to have some more uplifting music from North Point Worship with Praise Your Name. Enjoy. We'll be right back.
I've seen your faithfulness. You never break your promises. You are good, always good, my Jesus. In the tension of the night, you speak a word, my guiding light. I will trust, always trust you, Jesus. Come on, we sing. Say, I praise your name. In every moment I will choose to say, with all I am, with every breath I take, I praise your name. There's always grace for a broken heart. You're my strength when the day gets hard. Be my hope, you're my home, King Jesus. Yeah, I praise your name. In every moment I will choose to say, with all I am, with every breath I take, I praise your name. Oh yeah, I praise your name. You are the giver of every good thing. With all I am, with every breath I take, I praise your name. Wherever you are, just clap one time like this. We say it like, in the good and the bad time, in the shadow and the sunlight, it's my joy for my whole life to praise your name. Yeah, yeah. In the good and the bad times,
wonderful. That is so beautiful. I just love music. Music is the international language, and it uplifts us every time, and I hope you enjoyed that. But now, I am bringing on a dear friend of mine who is trying and doing a great job, but needs help and prayers as she's helping the people of Haiti. Linda Gunter, the founder and volunteer for LoveHimLoveThem.org. Linda, welcome.
Thank you so much, Aurea. What a great show.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing people.
It's Girl Power Night.
Girl power.
It
That's
is
right.
girl power from all ages. I was going to say old to young, but we're not old. So from the young to the little bit younger-less.
Right.
Is that a word? Younger-less.
Younger-less.
Younger-less. Anyway, tonight I want people to really notice I've had on this beautiful jewelry all night, and I just adorned myself with another piece of jewelry. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Linda, you're adorned with this too, because this jewelry is actually made out of trash, and we're going to talk about your story, Linda. Before we do that, tell the viewers who may not know your story, which is absolutely incredible, who you are and why you're sitting here tonight with that seventh day of the seventh month.
Right.
Did for
So
you.
that's actually the whole story is here. Peanut butter crackers and flip flops, and this is available anywhere online.
Now that makes
sells
sense.
Books. Or you can go to our website, LoveHimLoveThem.org. But to make a very long story short, my best friend was murdered in 2004. It was actually a double murder. She and her mother were both taken from this earth tragically, and she had 5 children. And in 5 minutes, those 5 children lost their mom, their dad, and their grandmother. And nobody wanted to take in 5 kids. I didn't want to take in 5 kids. But my godly husband so clearly reminded me what the Word of God says in James 1:27. Real religion that God himself considers pure and faultless is this: to care for the widows and the orphans in a hot mess. That's the LIV version, the Linda International version. And so my immediate response back was, I'm not Jesus and I'm not taking in 5 kids. But as you can see, God has done a work in my life. And I, on the 17th day of the 7th month, which I encourage you to look up all the things that happen in the Bible on the 17th day of the 7th month.
Oh, okay.
Pretty wild. The family living in my home went to the size of 7 with children the ages of 7 to 17. They just happened to be Haitian. I'd never been on a mission trip. I'm a Hilton Hyatt kind of girl. But I pretty much decided in 2011, 10 years ago, to take my children back to Haiti to show them where they came from. My hope was they were going to be a little more grateful to me for saving them.
Yep, there you go.
But instead, God used that trip to completely wreck my life. And I saw things I'd never seen, smelled things I'd never smelled, and ended up in a makeshift orphanage in Haiti with 30 children. And on Christmas Day, 2011, they sang for me This Little Light of Mine in 5 different languages. I was in a place, Aurea, that had no running water, no electricity, no ham on the table, no Christmas tree, no gifts, and yet 30 children stood before me singing with the joy of the Lord I'd never experienced before. I felt like Jesus Christ himself tapped me on the shoulder and said, Linda, this is the joy of the Lord. And honey, you ain't got it.
Oh my gosh.
Your joy comes from your circumstances when everything's going the way you want it to, so very, very long story short, I told the gentleman that brought us there, I said, somebody needs to bring those kids to the United States. And that's what we did. In 2016, 17, and 18, those 30 children came, and my prayer was that exactly what happened to me. I mean, I left that orphanage that day a completely different person.
I can tell.
And my prayer was that they would sing across the United States and change lives here the way they changed mine. And that's what happened.
Wow.
And so now we have 6 different locations. We are care for over 5,000 children. We have a vocational school. We just opened a hospital in the middle of a global pandemic.
You really did. Now that's something I want to stop it. Last year during the pandemic of 2020, you opened up a hospital.
Well,
in
that
Haiti.
I think was because we couldn't tour. We raised all of our funds from the children touring and singing. Like the churches closed down.
Right.
So we didn't have anywhere to tour and sing. And so I truly believe God said, Linda, you really think that you're raising the money by touring and singing? I'm the one that's doing this. And so I think he really wanted to prove his point that now our plan was to open 3 levels. We ended up opening, we pivoted. A lot of people pivoted, but we pivoted in an amazing way. And, 2 reasons that we opened that hospital, Aurea. One was that prior to having the hospital, a guy came in on a motorbike with a woman who was in labor. and saw our location with the buildings and assumed there was medical care, and there wasn't. And we lost the mother and the baby.
No.
The second reason we opened the hospital is that one of the children in one of our orphanages died from typhoid fever. And the experience that we went through, that's in our next book that's coming out, was horrific. And so we did this to honor both of those. And God, as God would have it, we opened on August the 29th, 2020. We've been open now for a year. On the day of the opening, I was there, and we had a baby born. Right when we were about to close.
New birth, new life.
New
Oh
birth,
my
new
gosh.
life. And it was almost as if God said, Linda, we lost that one, but you're going to have this one. And then we just kept having babies, right?
Oh my gosh.
And we were in the middle of nowhere. So these are women who would have never. The second day we were open, we had twins. And the lady had no idea she was pregnant with twins. It was like, it's a buy one, get one free day.
Oh my gosh.
One and one to take with you, right? It was
my
unbelievable. And
God.
it's been unbelievable ever since, the miracles that have taken place in that hospital. Unbelievable.
You're doing great work down there. Love him, lovethem.org. And I know things have happened. And I mean, if anybody's even turned on the news or listened to a radio in the last couple of weeks, it's just not only about now the orphans that you help, and it only costs a little bit less than $3 a day to raise an orphan. $1,000 a year will raise an orphan with education and medical and shoes and uniform, all that. You're doing such great work all these years. But it really got serious a couple of weeks ago. Tell us what happened that kind of snowballed.
So July 27th, very unexpectedly, actually I was walking on stage to speak at a breakfast, and we started getting the phone just kept going off, saying the president was assassinated. And I thought, that's got to be misinformation. I mean, what's going on? There's nothing more than normal.
The president of Haiti.
The president of Haiti, yeah. So certainly July the 27th, nobody knew what was going to happen because we were already dealing with some unrest, and for there to be no one in charge, there was a lot going on. We also had issues with the prime minister. There was a prime minister that was supposed to be in charge, another prime minister who stepped in, so everything was very chaotic. Then you move forward to August the 14th, and August the 14th we had a 7.2 magnitude earthquake. That's bigger than the one that happened in January of 2010, and so we've got some issues going on.
And then you had some water come in, didn't you?
We had Fred come in, and then we thought the storm Grace was coming in, and all of our prayer warriors were like, well, Linda, if Grace is coming, it's going to be fine. I was like, this is not God's grace. This is the storm Grace. Yeah, so we just shipped another container over a couple of weeks ago full of medical supplies. Our pastors reached out to us. We do evangelism conferences and pastor conferences. We work very closely with Samaritan's Purse. We will put out 35,000 of the Samaritan's Purse shoe boxes this year. We supplement that with our Christmas joy bags. But because of those relationships that we have with pastors all over Haiti, even though our 6 locations were not damaged, praise God, those that were, we had relationships with those pastors. And I'm going to tell you, that's the way to communicate in Haiti. That's really the way to communicate anywhere, because pastors know their congregations, they know their communities, they know how to get things out, they know who needs help, who really needs help, who might not really need help.
Right.
And so we were able to work through them and get the supplies there that they needed.
And what I love about you, Linda, too, is you're very forthright of saying who gets paid, who doesn't get paid, and getting every penny down to Haiti. Tell us about how that dynamic works, because I'm really a stickler for nonprofits that aren't wasteful with what they're given. And I want the viewers to know how unwasteful you are.
So I'm an economics major. When I grew up on coupons, I'll never forget the first date that my husband and I had. He said, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "Well, where do you have a coupon for?" He's like, "I have a company credit card. We don't need a coupon."
I was going to say, he's paying, go where you want.
Exactly. So I've always been a stickler. I guess I thought I was a stickler, but then once I went to Haiti and realized what a dollar could do.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I mean, to stop and buy a bottle of water, it's very difficult for me to spend $3 on a bottle of water when I know what that $3 could do in Haiti.
Wow.
So I'm a volunteer. People are always asking me, "Do you know this missionary? Do you know this ministry?" And I'm like, "I don't think you get it. I'm not a missionary. I'm just a girl who took in my friends' kids, and this happened, and then this happened, and this happened." I've really just been obedient to the Holy Spirit, and not always obedient.
Right.
So I'm very fortunate to have a husband that has an amazing business, and so that's how we survive. But we operate off of strictly volunteers here. We even have we have an American volunteer in Haiti that runs our guest house, and she's a volunteer.
Gotcha.
So every penny we raise goes directly to help Haiti. Now, I want you to know also, one of my big deals is I don't want to just give. okay? So what we love to do, this is one of our ministries. So our girls, this is Isaiah 61, talks about beauty from ashes, and that's what this is. These are jewelry that is made out of trash, okay? But one thing I learned, Aurea, as we run our girls through our orphanage we now have a transition home. We transition them out of the orphanage into the transition home.
That's vital, that's important.
Put them in the vocational school, make sure they have a vocation. And I started to let them work in other places, but I learned that they had to do things. The first girl that came to me and said, Mommy Linda, I don't think you understand what I have to do to keep this job. That was it. So now they only
What'd
work.
you have to do?
Sexual favors were required for an accounting office. And so what we do now is we raise them up, but they work with us. So they either work we have 187 women that are employed that are not in sex trafficking because they are working and earning their money.
I love that.
And for them to see this jewelry on people in America, I mean, I'm looking now for Instagram influencers that would wear it to sell the jewelry.
Oh, great idea.
They work in our hospital. Corinne is working in our hospital and taking in I mean, it's just amazing to see these girls growing up. They work in the school. They're teaching. Some of them are working with the kindergarten.
Teach them how to make a life and make a living.
Exactly. And then we bought land. We bought enough land to build 100 homes. So now they literally transition out of the transition home into their own home with their own job.
Wow.
They have their own life. They don't need Mommy Linda, right?
I love that.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, the Bible says that. What does the Bible say about that? Doesn't it say to teach them how to fish, teach them how to...
I don't think that fishing thing's in the Bible.
No,
but
is that just a saying? Okay, well, that's okay.
The Bible does say the poor will always be with us, and I do believe that the poor will always be with us to see if those of us who are blessed will be a blessing. That is why we are blessed, right?
Yes.
But it also doesn't mean that we have to continuously hand out. Now, there are some times when you have to start off. I mean, when we first went to Haiti, my husband, I'll never forget on the first flight back, he said, Linda, anything we do here is going to be like spitting in the ocean. We can't help all these people. And yet, look what's happened. And so sometimes in the beginning, the gospel is free, but to evangelize costs money. So you do have to have money to be able to evangelize. When we first started in Haiti, our biggest competition was voodoo. And so when you have someone come up and you want to invite them to church, you want to tell them about Jesus, they want to say, well, can your Jesus get me a job? Can your Jesus get my daughter in school? Can your Jesus get me something to eat today? And now for any of those questions that anyone asks for Love Him, Love Them, our answer is yes, 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 you come on. So
They need provisions. Yeah, that's so important. It's like, they're not just there to play games. They want to survive. And then you teach them how to keep on surviving. And even if you're not there, because you're not there right now, physically, you're...
The last time I was there was April. And ironically, I went in April to bring 3 students legally from Haiti here to the United States. Students that we had host families for, students that we had sponsors for, students that we wanted to get F1 student visas for. And we were denied those visas. We were denied to bring children here legally through the U.S. Embassy, which is very interesting based on what's happening in the world today.
Oh, my gosh. So what can people do to help then?
So what you can do to help, oh my goodness, we need your church, we need your organization. We have so many different things. We have brand new Christmas ornaments coming out. One thing that you could do to help is to decorate your tree this year with a Love Him, Love Them Christmas ornaments. That would be amazing, right? The second thing you can do to help is we're always collecting shoes. We need shoes, used shoes, old shoes, shoes you just don't wear anymore. If you've got a ladies group or a women's group or a Sunday school class, you can collect those shoes for us. And we have one of our girls from Haiti here in the United States that runs our shoe ministry.
Really? Well,
yes.
We have shoes in America.
Yes,
they cannot tell me they don't have shoes that they're not wearing. I know I do.
We would love for you to help us with our Christmas joy bags, to get those joy bags to Haiti.
What's in a joy bag?
A joy bag is a gallon bag, and you can put whatever you want in it. Shampoo, toothpaste, toothbrushes, balls, Barbies. I'll tell you, the #1 wanted item on the mountain in Haiti are bars of soap.
Really?
Oh, Aurea, last Christmas when we were there, I gave the girls options to have Barbie dolls, makeup, headbands, and they all chose the bars of soap.
Look at that. The difference in the need. And I'm here to tell you, and I don't know if you want to say this, but I'm here to tell every viewer that what you said, it costs money to evangelize. It costs money to get this stuff there. So if the viewers have the means to give, I want them to consider that, because we're trying to raise $60,000 for you right now before my 60th birthday. And whenever you watch this show, there'll always be a need. There'll always be need for cash as well as things.
Right, but I want to tell that story. Okay. So you are
2
raising
minutes.
$60,000 before, but this is why. Aurea lost her mother a week before her 60th birthday. And so she reached out and said, I really want to do something special to honor my mother for my 60th birthday. And so I want to raise $60,000 in 60 days for my 60th birthday. Now think about that for a second. She wants to honor her mother. I became a mother to my best friend's children. Because I was a mother, I took those children to Haiti, and I am now called Mommy Linda to children all over Haiti. And so for her birthday wish to raise those funds, that will take care of 60 of our children for a year. That's $1,000 per child. You can give $1,000 tonight at lovehimlovethem.org. You'll see her picture there. It's her 60th birthday wish. Or you can give enough for a day, which is $2.87. You can give enough for a month. But
That's
that would
great.
what an amazing gift for Aurea. It's like she always says, I have everything I need, but I think the fact that we can honor your mother by you turning 60 and help the children, and I mean, the whole story coming together is amazing.
You're doing amazing work down in Haiti, Linda. They need you now more than ever. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all the sacrifice you make. And I hope people will just get to know you and go to your website and get to know all the stuff you're doing for the people of Haiti.
Thank you for letting me come and share. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, Atlanta Live, that's what we're about here, letting you all know about great people doing great things, people to pray for. Please consider praying for the people of Haiti, praying for the girls, the mentorships that they're doing here, praying for the grief counselors and everyone around us, because together we can achieve more. And when 2 or 3 are gathered together, there he is in the midst. Prayer works, and the prayer line is open. Thank you for being here tonight, and we'll see you next time on Atlanta Live. Have a good night.